Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Higher and Beyond. This is the place for us to learn about personal development, personal growth, and self improvement. I have my guest speaker, the person who I really admire, and I've got a lot of inspiration from her. And our guest speaker today is the person who really want to share her insight for all of us in here. So, hi, Marcella.
Hi,
Welcome.
Uni. How are you?
I'm
Thank you.
great. I'm so excited. Thank you for joining.
You're very welcome. I'm sorry for this, my image and all of that, but it's super sunny out here, so
Oh,
bear with
that's
me.
yeah. You look good though. We need your insight anyway, right? And then
Yes.
okay. For all of you guys who's watching this video, I'm going to introduce Marcella, who is actually Marcella. She is the best speaker that I ever met, and Marcella is a public speaker, growth coach. She is also the founder of Crank It Up Coaching, Master of Achologist, and she is also a facilitator for the workshop and retreat. And Marcella has helped hundreds of people to make better decisions in their life around the world. That is amazing, Marcella. But before we go and jump into our discussion today, the topic is a really amazing. We're gonna talk about goal setting, but would you like to tell us about your little bit introduction about yourself, please?
Oh, an introduction. So, as you said, I am a master ecologist. I attend, like you, ecology. And I came upon goal setting a couple of ways. So the first time I was really introduced to goal setting was when I was in the military, and the person in charge was kind of like had the status. He wasn't, but he had kind of like the status of a general, and he was telling me I don't, that he was pretty young. He was the same age as I was. So, but he was telling us that at a young age, his parents taught him about goal setting. He and his brother, and his brother is a renowned author. So when he said that, I was like, wow, I really wish that I had that experience at a young age. And so what that did is it inspired me to set some goals and reach them. And then later on, somebody in my life told me that they were talking to their husband about my life, and how I just really made good choices in life, because my father died when I was 6, my mom died when I was 20, and I didn't really have anybody to ask questions to or figure out, where I was going to go. And so with that, I thought so many people don't know how to make good decisions, don't know how to set goals and achieve them. We might set the goal, but the difficult part comes when it's comes to achieving goals.
Hmm. Wow. Okay. From that experience, um, the parents left you when you were young,
Mhm.
and it made you find out what is actually how you don't have anyone to question what is actually the setting goal now, and then you learn through the a lot of things and a lot of experience, and then
Mhm.
you learn a lot of things about this the goal setting. My question is, why is it that we need to have a goal setting in life? Why is it so important to have a goal in life, because as young people sometimes we don't really care about the goal what we want to go. Sometimes we have a goal but we don't know how we can achieve it, how we can go there. You know what I mean? Why is it so
Yes.
important?
So I just believe it's so important to have goals because it kind of directs your life. It helps you with decision making. And, if you don't have direction, you tend to go around and around and around. So goals give you direction. And so that's why it's important to have goals because they really do give you direction. And yeah, when you don't have goals, and goals have to be written, but when you don't have goals, where are you going? Where are you going?
Mm,
What are you doing? And just like the what I was telling you about this guy that was about the same age as I was, and I think at that time I was in my early 30s or late 20s, and he had already, gone so far in life. But because I didn't have goals. I mean, I was living, and I could say I was enjoying life, but I wasn't going as far as I could go. And I think it's important for us all to reach our potential, or strive for something. And you can still have fun while you're doing it.
really? This is interesting. We can still have fun doing it, in order to reach our goal. Right. How can we do that? Because um, I can actually tell that when I was young, I didn't have that goal. And then I'm 30, in a late 30 now,
Hmm.
and I'm kind of like, why I didn't think about the goal when I was young, because I was only think about the fun that I had at the time. I didn't have
Hmm.
the goal. So this is what you mean by, if someone doesn't have the goal, there is no direction where you want to go. So this was actually the experience that I've had, because when I
Hmm.
was young I didn't have the goal but I was fun. And now you mentioned that you can have a goal but you also can have fun.
Yes.
How can you
I,
relate with that?
I truly believe that we have to enjoy the journey. A lot of people who have goals are like concentrating on their goal and nothing else. They don't smell the roses. But I strongly suggest that as you are striving to reach your goals, that you take time out, that you schedule fun on your calendar every week, that you enjoy the journey. Because what's the sense of reaching a goal if a year passes and you don't know? It's a blur because all you've been doing is focusing on achieving your goal. That's not life, that's not living. And my goal is for people to enjoy life.
Mm,
Yes, and live a fulfilling life.
right. So it is also something that really make me curious, because I can tell that many people, they really focus on the goal. This is also the experience that I've had, I have, not long ago. I was really focused on my goals, that I want to be a really business owner, an entrepreneur, and um, the people who's really successful with, let's say, a lot of money. And then I was really focused on that thing, and then
Mhm,
I couldn't feel the I couldn't smell. I didn't smell the roses because I was really
mhm.
focused, and it became ambition in that,
Right, right.
right?
And most people who have that mindset, once they get to their goal, then automatically they go to the next goal. So what's the next goal? And that's what they do. Then they focus on that. And they miss out on so much. There's no balance in their life, and they miss out on so much. So the key to goal setting is also balance. You have to have balance.
Okay. So the key for goal setting is also balance.
Right. That's part of goal setting is to keep balance in your life.
Right. Wow. This is something that really I can tell that many people don't know how to actually, um, to make the balance. Even though you have the goal, but you cannot keep your balance in life. That is why I can tell that when you are reach out in the goal that you have, and then you become more that what's the next, and then all of a
Yes.
sudden, I can tell that okay, if the goal is making a lot of money and then all of a sudden, oh, you want more money, you want more, that's a lot of distraction in there, and then all of a sudden it bum like gone everything, and it become what the
Uh-huh.
right. Yes, this
Mm-hmm.
is, I think this has happened also in the society, especially I can tell in my country, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
There's very quick to reach
Yeah.
the goal and then all of a sudden down again and don't know what to do.
Right. Right.
Yeah. So how
And
do you see from that?
I also think that not only, they reach the goal and they go down, but when it's time, when they get older and they're about to die, when they look back on their life, there's really nothing fulfilling because all you've been doing is striving for your goal. Yeah.
Mm, wow, this is deep.
Yeah. Um, but what I would like to talk about too is, there's a lot of people who don't have goals. And there's also people who really don't believe in goals. They don't believe in, setting goals. Now, some of them say, well, I'm going to set an intention. But the thing about goal setting, and I truly believe in setting goals, is it gives you it gives you something to strive for, and that striving, it doesn't, well, let me tell you this story. And this
Please.
explains it a lot. Like there's this guy that's on um, TED Talk, and I'm sorry, unfortunately, I don't remember his name, but he he made it and was a professional football player in the United States, and he said he didn't believe in goals because he set this goal of getting into the NFL. And at the time that he set this goal, it was unlikely that he would make it, that he would get picked. Um, and so he decided to do, work out and eat and do this and do that and do the other. And he really abused his body. And
Mm,
when it came time for the tryouts, he ended up passing out and had to be rushed to the hospital. And so, of course, because of that, he was not picked. Now, the first thing I want to say about that is that you should never set a goal that is dependent on somebody else. Like
mm,
his goal should have been, I'm going to work hard and be the best that I can be. So, what does that entail? It entails maybe going to the gym and working out twice a day, working out 2 hours each time, every day of the week, or maybe 5 days and take a 2 day break, something like that, and work and be your best. But you can never set a goal to have where it's somebody else's choice to pick you. It's somebody else's choice. Like, I'm going to get promoted.
mm.
That is not necessarily going to work, but you can work at being an expert in your field. And
Right.
then if they don't recognize you and promote you, then guess what? You have the option to look for another job for for somebody who is going to appreciate your skills.
Right. So we should not depend on the goal for someone else, with someone else.
Right. We can't set goals that are dependent on someone else.
Hmm. Okay. So, which means we have to know what we really want, not because of people. That is why, oh, because I have this person told me that I'm good at this thing, for example, dance. And then I'm gonna do dance, but this is not actually what you really want. This is not the goal that you really wanted. Is that what you?
Well, I didn't really say that, but that is so true that
Hmm.
goals should be your goals should be what you really want. You know, a lot of
Hmm.
us set goals or want to be or have a life that somebody else wants for them, like their parents, their spouse, somebody else, a friend, somebody else. But the thing is that you have to want it and you have to know your why. Why
Yeah.
why do you want it?
Hmm.
Why do you want the goal? What is motivating you? And sometimes you have to really dig deep into that why,
Right.
the why
So,
behind what you're doing. And that'll
hmm,
keep you motivated. That'll keep you motivated.
right. Okay. Why it come back? It goes back to the question to yourself. Why do you want this goal?
Right. Why is
What?
it important
What?
to you?
Mm,
Why is it important to you?
right. Okay.
And like I can give you a quick example.
Hmm.
Um, so the goal may be I want to be a doctor. And then you say, well, why do you want to be a doctor? I want to make a lot of money and I want to help people. Well, why do you want to make a lot of money? Because I want to buy a big piece of land so I can build a house and also have my siblings build houses on this land and have their children and all of that. Well, why do you want that? Because this has always been a dream for us to stay connected, to live on the same property, so our children will grow up together and we'll be, really close as a closeness knit family.
Hmm.
And so the bottom line is that that's why I'm doing everything that I'm doing is because I want this close knit family. And this is something that we've talked about for years. When I was younger, my mother grew up with her siblings in a very close area where they all lived together. So this is what I want for my family. So it went from being a doctor to all the way down to why, because I want to have money so that I can do this for my family.
Hmm. Which is this is a quite good reason, which is not just the money for something, for you know something that is not, there's no meaning of having a lot of money, because there's a big reason that this person want to have to save the family, so they can always together with the family, which
Yes,
is, it's a
right,
compassion in there.
right. And it's a motivator. So when
Right.
times get hard, I mean, being a lawyer or a doctor or whatever, any kind of goal you have, you're going to hit obstacles. But when those obstacles come, when those setbacks come, you have a reason to keep moving forward because it's important to you because of your why.
Mm. Oh, so goal is not just the goal to impress someone else. It's just because the goal is, has the meaning. This is what, this is, I think also, do you think this is one of the biggest mistakes for many young people, because they have a goal but they don't really know what is why inside of them.
Yes, I do. I do. And
Mm.
another thing I think is that people don't really know what goal setting is. And it's a good thing to have long-term goals
Yeah.
and then work and then have milestones and then short-term goals. And by a lot of people, I think of like New Year's resolutions.
Yes.
It to me, those are simple goals. They're not linked to anything else. So it's so easy to stop doing them
Hmm.
because they're not linked to anything else. There's no why involved. There's no and then also how you say, I want to lose weight, or this is a good one that I used to say is I want to watch what I eat. And that is not a goal. It's not smart, a smart goal. A smart goal is specific, measurable, achievable, um, relatable. I mean, relevant, which is kind of like relatable, and time bound.
Yeah.
So instead of saying I'm going to watch what I eat, because watching is not doing anything, right? And I'm saying I'm going to watch what I eat because I want to lose weight. So instead, you can say that every day, 5 days a week, I'm going to have a salad. And one day for dinner, I'm not going to have meat. And I'm going to work out 4 days a week. So those things, this specific, it's measurable because I'm saying I'm going to do this 5 days a week. I'm going to do this one day. So you can go back and look, well, did I do this? Right? Is
Hmm.
it achievable? Yes, it's achievable. Is it relevant? Yes, it's relevant because I'm trying to be healthier. I'm trying to lose weight. And is it time bound? Yes, because we're talking about a week, period, what I'm going to do.
Yeah. Yeah. So it has to be, again, to set the goal, we have to use the smart. Especially, it has to be specific, because what do you really want, instead of I'm going to lose weight this year? How?
Yes, right.
Right? And
Exactly.
this is a very common in the society, and many people, I can tell a lot of people actually use this resolution, right? um,
Mhm, mhm.
at the early year, and then I'm gonna do this, but after that nothing happened. It's like
Right.
they forget about it because they don't use it as, they don't understand the why, and then they don't actually um, make it as specific as it is,
Mhm.
right?
Yes.
Okay, so talking about long term, milestone, and short term, um, what are the short term and long term goal, both, especially in the professional and professionally? Does that actually help us to, um, when we set up the goal long term, it can help our personal and professional too?
Oh, yes, you could have personal and professional goals. And long-term goals, I think, can be anywhere, and some people think differently, but I think a long-term goal can be anywhere from a year to 10 years. I wouldn't go over 10 years. And midterm goals or medium goals can be like 5 years and less. And short-term goals, and I say medium goals, that's like the milestones, but it could also be 3 months. It all depends on you. To
Mhm.
me, it all depends on you. And then the short-term goals are really, so the medium goals, which are milestones, are like the bridge to get to the long-term goal. See what I'm saying? And the short-term goals are like your daily tasks. How am I
Right.
going to get to my milestone?
Hmm. Okay. Right. You use the strategies how to set up the goal with a smart and specific, with a smart goal. And how about the, you have a lot of people, to make also better decision in their life, right?
Yeah.
And how do you track the progress toward the people goals to really, oh, I don't know how to make this decision. Sometimes we just, I'm gonna do that, and then all of a sudden, ooh, maybe I'm wrong.
Right. Right.
Yeah,
So that's a good point, because that's one of the things that I love about goal setting, because if you have a difficult time making decisions, or should I say making the right decisions for you, goal setting can help you with that. Because if you continue to have, which you should, have your goals before you, and not, because it's so funny. I'm going to kind of veer off for a minute. It's so funny. I remember, way back, I would set goals, and then I would I wouldn't look at them again until the end of the year. But that's not how you do goals. You have them before you all the time. So at that time, I like looked at my goals and I said, oh, I did this and this, but I didn't do a whole bunch of things because they weren't always before me. So they
okay.
have to be always before you. And it helps you with your decision making, because you ask yourself, is this choice going to move me forward towards my goal or move me back? And so a lot of times that can help you in your decision making and decide whether or not you should make this choice or not.
Hmm. Okay. Hmm. Whether we make this choice or not. So where the strength come from
Where does the
to make
strength?
that decision? Yeah, to make, oh, I'm
It's
gonna take this decision.
right, because it's going to affect your goal. Now, remember, your goal is something that you want
Mm-hmm.
in your life. It's
Yeah.
looking at your life like how it could be. So it's something that you want. So if you keep your goals before you all the time, and a decision comes, let's say the decision is whether, let's say this decision is whether or not to take an expensive vacation at the moment. And you are kind of like, oh, I really, really want to go. But then when you look at your goals and you see what type of resources you're going to need in the next month or two or three or four, is it wise to take this decision, to make this decision of going even though you want to go, or to hold on to that money so that when the time comes and you need those resources, those financial resources, you'll have them? You see what I mean?
Yeah. Mm. It depends what you need to in here. Do you really need it or do you really want it?
Right. That's true too. Do you need it or
Okay.
do you want it? But a lot of times, so my thing is, sometimes you you should do stuff that you want to do. That's what keeps life interesting. That's what keeps you motivated. So in that
Mm.
example that I just gave you about going on a trip, maybe instead what you can do is decide, okay, I'm not going to go now, but when I reach this milestone, when I reach this in my goal, then I'll go. And from starting now, I'll put money away, every week or every time I reach a goal, a short-term goal, I'll put some money in that pot for me to go on this vacation, instead of just taking all the money out at one time. And then it has more significance because you're celebrating reaching a milestone or reaching
Mm.
your goal.
Right. This is what you're saying about um, setting goal. Also, it can be fun beside of that, right? So there
Yes,
is also an appreciation for the milestone that you achieve in
yes,
order to go farther. And beside of that, I can tell this is also one of the thing, when you have a big goal, you also need to take care of yourself. Is this also one example that we are taking care of ourselves, Marcella?
yes, it is. It is. It's very important to take care of yourself and not, like we were talking about before, um not be so focused on reaching a goal that you don't
Mm-hmm.
take care of yourself. It's so important to take care of yourself and self-care. And so I believe in celebrations. And so that's something that you can do. You reach your task every week that you set, and then you have something on there where you're celebrating, you're doing something, you're doing some kind of self-care, something that you enjoy doing. Whether it's a free thing like going to the park and walking in the park, or whether it's going sightseeing, or something that's going to cost some money, going to get a massage, going to a spa.
Mm-hmm.
But it's so important to enjoy the journey. Enjoy the journey.
Right,
Saying.
right. Wow. This is also called to keep the balance, right?
Yes.
Beside of, you know, having the the big goals, but we can also fun to have these goals, which means keep a life balance in here, and
Right.
taking care of ourselves. Wow.
And it also helps you to be motivated, to keep you motivated in um while you're striving to reach a certain goal in life.
Mm.
Yeah, it keeps you motivated.
Okay, so now I'm getting curious about, I'm really interested with it, because sometimes, people are setting goal, but they don't know where they really want to go, because they don't have any guidance from someone else, as a professional, for example, right? And as a growth coach, and you are specialized helping people, to make better decision in their life, which
Hmm.
is you are guiding them to set up their goal. And how long usually to, as a person, you take care of the client, um, to have a session with you to make their better decision? How long, I mean, how many session do we need? I need to actually, because sometimes I really, oh my god, I don't know what I'm doing, I don't know, and stuff like that, let's say, as I'm a client who's blank, I don't know what to do, I don't even have the goal setting. How long do I need to take the session when I come to you? I'm curious.
Yeah, well, Uni, that
Mm,
all depends on the client.
right.
And, sometimes it'll just take one session where the client kind of has an idea, and they just need somebody to listen and reflect back what they're saying, and it comes to them. And then other times it's a little bit more difficult because they don't really know what they want, because they know what other people want for them. So we have
Mm,
to dig through that so that they'll know what they want. And then I
right.
also I also have a master class that kind of walks you through what goal setting is and how to goal set, and creating plans for your obstacles, because we always run into roadblocks and obstacles when we are trying to go somewhere. And so this master class helps with that. It helps with your action plan. We go over
Mm,
personal mission statements and your values and um, yeah, it's a lot because you always want your goals to align with your values. So you need to know your values. And
mm,
then when you do that, it helps you to realize also, what do you want?
mm, right. So it back again, it depends on the client, on the person also, right? What they really
Yes.
really focus on, what they really need, and why
hmm
they want to start with the goal setting, etc. and etc. Um, Talking about the roadblock and challenge, um, this is a little bit personal, maybe in your experience. Have you, when you set up the goal, have you ever faced the kind of roadblock and challenges in your life when it comes to setting up the goal?
Now, it's not when you set it up, it's when you're striving and moving towards the goal. And yes, everybody has roadblocks and challenges. And the thing is that you want to create a plan where, so I can give you an example. Now, I didn't create this plan when beforehand. But
Mm,
so let's say, we're building our business. So one of the milestones, right, is creating creating your website and even maybe advertising. So as I was doing this, and I know in my mind, right, I'm saying to myself, which is not good, I'm not technical. I don't know these things. I don't know. And so you get to this roadblock where you want to do something, but it's not working. And the first thing I did is I got frustrated and I put it down. I put it down for 2 weeks and then I would come back to it and figure it out, right? So this
mm,
happened over and over again. And
right.
in my mind, I'm like, well, I'm doing other stuff. There's plenty starting a business, there's plenty of things you need to do. So I'm doing this other stuff, but while this important thing is waiting for my attention. And then eventually 2 weeks or so later, I go back and I figure it out. So one day I said, you know what? This is ridiculous.
Mm,
So I created a plan for the obstacle. I said, when you get to a roadblock or an obstacle, what I want you to do is spend the next 15 minutes trying to figure it out. And that worked. And
mm,
really, the funny thing about it, when I thought about it, is that's what I was doing all along. I would put it down for 2 or 3 weeks and work on other stuff and then go back to it and figure it out. So I can figure it out. You're smart enough, you got YouTube, you can figure it out. So instead of putting it down for 2 to 3 weeks, say, okay, you're going to work on it for the next 15 minutes and do what you think would solve the problem. And it worked, and a lot of times when it was 15 minutes, I ended up maybe not even figuring it out in 15 minutes, but I had started to get into it and it may have taken a half an hour. But instead of putting it down, I worked on it
mm,
because that was important for my business right then, instead of putting it down and doing other things.
mm, right. Instead of, like, let's say, putting it down, let's take time, even though only for 15 minutes, you're gonna work on it. and figured it out, and then all of a sudden you actually found out that this is work.
Right. And
Hmm.
it had a lot to do with reframing. So my
Okay.
context was I I can't, in your mind, your subconscious, right? You're thinking, I'm not technical. I'm not tech savvy.
Yeah.
So when you come across this obstacle, that's what your mind is saying. Oh, you can't do this. You can't do this, right?
Mm.
And so, but I reframed and said, you can do this because 2 weeks later, when you go back to it, you figure it out. So you can do this. So don't get frustrated and put it down because you
Mm,
can do
right.
this. Take the time and figure it out while when you hit that obstacle.
Mm. But it also comes to the with the reframing. I must say this is also working on your mindfulness
Hmm.
strategy in this case.
Hmm. Mindfulness, yes. Mindfulness deals with, living in the present, right? So
Okay.
it does. And it also deals with NLP,
Mm.
reframing, because the reframe was that you're smart enough that you can figure it out. And my subconscious mind was saying, you're not tech savvy. You don't know how to do this, right? But when you reframe and go, I'm smart enough. I can figure it out. And if I can't, I can get help to figure it out. Either
Mm.
by
Wow.
calling a friend or by
Right.
going on YouTube and asking the question, how do you do? So
Wow.
there you go. So you don't
Right.
have to stop. And so that's what dealing with obstacles is about. Maybe, like, I
Mm.
didn't see that ahead of time, and this is, I didn't see that ahead of time. But now, if you look at your goals when you set them and go, so what are the obstacles? And the obstacle could even be, what, it's something that you have to do on Saturday. And I don't like getting up. I want to sleep in on Saturday. And so, what's going to motivate you to get up? What's going to motivate you to do the things you need to do?
Yeah.
So that's dealing with obstacles.
Right. Wow. This is how you do to stay motivated and focus on your goals. Like even there's a lot of struggle and challenges, you have this strategy, to stay up and to keep it up, to be there, instead of just like, I know I can do it, instead of, put it down, but what to
Hmm.
do in order to get it done.
Hmm.
Right. um what about the example? Can you give us an example of the goal that you have achieved in the past?
Sure, I can give you an example of, um, let's say, my goal that I reached of master ecologist. So
Right.
the master ecologist, when I started this journey, so master ecologist in ecology is like, it's a 6-step process. So I was at step 3. So I had to go 3 more steps. Those 2 of those steps were, I would call, milestone, and it was reaching senior ecologist 1 and then senior ecologist 2. And then there was a requirement to have a certain amount um, of coaching sessions. So that was my goals, is to get those. And then I broke it down further. And so, how am I going to get these coaching sessions? What am I going to do? So on my daily list, I was contact people that look on Facebook, and do the things that you need to do to get these coaching sessions.
Mm.
And so, And also, we have some courses we have to do. Also, by this time, you're going to have these coaching sessions. So how are you going to fit that in? When are you going to do that? And so you create a plan. You create a plan on when you're available. What are you going to do? How are you going to contact people? How are you going to get the people you need? When are you going to make the time to do the coursework? So you create a plan, and then I say you create a plan and then you work the plan. And so the first milestone was getting senior colleges one. And so I did that. And it's so interesting in that I really, I excelled at it. I came up with ideas of how to get the clients I needed to coach. And voila. And I don't think, maybe obstacles that I faced was people saying no. And so for me, and I guess that could be an obstacle, because for me, when people say no or they didn't respond, I would normally take it as a no and move on. But this time I said, no, I'm going to reach out to them again. No, I'm going to reach out to them again, 2 or 3 times. So that was my growth, is like, just because they haven't responded, that doesn't mean anything. Continue to reach out to them. You know, that was taking me outside of my comfort zone. But I had my goal in mind. And so these are the things you need to do if you want to reach the goal.
Wow, right, right. So if you have this goal, if you want to reach this goal, no matter what you want to do, you can do, you want to do it, even though you have to step out from your comfort zone.
Right. And normally, any goal that's worthwhile achieving is going to help you to grow. It's going to put you outside of your comfort zone. Because, there's a saying that says, if you keep doing the same thing, you're going to get the same response, right? So if
Yeah.
you're trying to reach some goals that you haven't had before, you're going to have to do some things that you haven't done before and reach outside of your comfort zone and get outside of your comfort zone.
Wow, wow, wow. I think I learned a lot in this part, because you know what? It's so hard actually for some people out there to step out from their comfort zone in order to achieve, to reach out, to reach the goal, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because getting out and stepping out from the comfort zone, it's taking a lot of energy. Am I right?
Yes.
But
Hmm.
you did it.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's always worthwhile. It's always worthwhile, especially like we've said before, and I'm going to emphasize again, it's something that you want. It has to be something that you want.
Right. Oh, powerful. This has to be something that I want, that everybody want. Really, really interesting. I learned a lot about this. Sometimes I kind of, I want to be like that person. So I'm gonna write down, this is my goal. But I forgot to question myself again. This is really what I want, or you know what I mean, right?
Right.
So
Why do you
yeah.
want it? Why do you want it?
Oh, exactly. This is so beautiful. I'm gonna take it. I really, and thank you for this. The emphasize again. You emphasize this again. This is so beautiful. And yes, now, um, what is the one message that you would like to tell everybody who's watching this video? For all of the people around the world. If you want to reach the goal, what is the one message that you would like to share about goal setting and how to overcome that, the
Yes.
struggle?
So goal setting has so many benefits. Some we've talked about today, and there's others that we haven't talked about. But in order to excel in life, I believe you have to set goals. And goal setting, because what you do today determines your tomorrow. So when you have goals, it kind of focuses you on your tomorrow while you're living today.
Hmm.
Does that make sense?
It is, makes sense. And I mean, this is so deep for me, you know what? Because I can tell that I've been underestimate the goal that I have. Well, I know I'm gonna reach that goal anyway. But I don't know how to make a plan. You know what I mean?
Right. And you need a
Here's the
plan.
thing,
You need a
right?
plan.
You talk about the plan. What is actually the step? What is the plan that you need in order to achieve your goal? And this is
Yes.
that I can tell. I have this personal experience too, that I know I'm going to reach that goal, but all of a sudden I missed it.
Right. Or
And
you say you
yeah,
have this goal and 6, 7, 8 years, you still have the goal, but you haven't created a plan to reach the goal. So your mind is saying, yeah, I'm gonna do this, but you continue to go around in circles or maybe make a little progress, but without a plan.
yeah,
Like, there's a saying, um, you make a plan so that you won't fail, or you fail when you don't make a plan. It's actually, I got it all wrong, but that's the thing, that if you don't have a plan, how will you know when you get there, or when will you get there?
exactly,
Because also something that we didn't mention is that with goal setting, you have to write it down and you have to have a timeline. We did kind of talk about it with SMART goals, that you have to have a timeline for when you reach it. How are you going to reach? How will you know when you reach it? And when will you reach it?
right. I love that quote before. Um, with the plan, we don't know how we get. We don't know if
Right.
we
Without a
fail.
plan,
Yeah,
right. Without a plan, you don't know.
right. Oh, interesting one. Well, okay. I love this discussion. I can talk about it for an hour. Talking about many things that But again, the very important thing in order to set up the goal is we have to have a plan, and especially in the setting goal, we have to have a smart goal, not just the goal that you
Right.
want to, right? And um, smart goal, we have to have a plan, and what else?
You have to have the SMART goal. You have to have an action plan. You have to. One of the most
Mm,
important things is your why. Why do you
right.
want this?
Yeah.
And then always, and you have to monitor your progress, and
hmm
always have to celebrate. Have to celebrate those wins.
I love this one. Celebration is also very important, which mean
Right.
th- this is also um, an appreciation how you can take care, how to take care of yourself.
Yes.
Beautiful. Nice. Thank you very much, Marcella. It's been an amazing discussion and a lot of insight that I've got from here. Ah, I love it. Thank you so much.
You're very welcome, Uni. Thanks for inviting me.
Oh, it's my pleasure. Anything else that you want to share to our people who's watching at home? Uh,
No, I think that we covered it. So in a short, brief moment, I'll share with you. So you have to with every goal, it has to be clear and specific. So you can use the SMART method, which is specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time bound. So make your goals specific and clear, and then know your why, and then write your goals down, um, and break it down into small steps, what you have to do to reach that goal. So, and a lot of times you'll have milestones, like I was sharing, my milestones to get to Master Ecologist, plan for obstacles, track your progress, and then celebrate your victories.
so thank you so much. Yes, for all of you guys who's watching, that was a very important brief from Marcella. If you really want to set up the goal to have a goal setting that um, can help you in your life, for your life especially. So that's beautiful. Thanks again, Marcella, for your time. And for all of you who's watching, thank you very much too. And thanks, Marcella.
You're welcome.
Bye.
Bye bye.